Georgetown University took a surprising step over the course of the past week to help make amends for its history, which I didn't know was actually rooted in American slavery. Descendants of the people it sold in 1838 will now receive preferential status during the admissions process. Yes, so Georgetown University actually is very tightly connected with the tragic history of American slavery. Not only did slaves build the Jesuit school, but the priests who ran it also sold 272 of them, including children, to Maryland and Louisiana plantations in order to pay off the institution's debts. I love that priests were involved in selling slaves, but that's American history for you.
Those had to be Muslim priests.
They might well have been
Christian priests.
I'm looking into it, okay? And so look, a lot of the headlines are simply saying they're giving preferential admissions treatment to descendants of slaves. In this case, it's specifically descendants of the slaves who were sold by Georgetown. But that's not all, actually. Georgetown administrators also announced on Wednesday that the school will erect a memorial to honor the slaves who built the school and publicly apologize for its involvement in the slave trade. One of the buildings that was formerly dedicated to a slave master will be renamed after a slave, and a second will be renamed after a prominent black educator, and the school will open a designated institute for people to study slavery.
And they're not going to offer these people tuition-free college, or they're not going to offer, and they're not going to offer them scholarships either. What they will offer them is to re-enslave them with student debt.
Well,
in that case, we have to blame the U.S. government.
They will be considered in the same applicant pool as all legacy applicants, which is preferential treatment in the admissions process. Yeah, it doesn't do anything for debt, but neither does anything. Yeah. And I think it's helpful. And I think Georgetown should really be commended for this because they're doing more than any other school. I think starting the most interesting thing is the study of slavery. Starting this institute for the study of slavery is pretty incredible.
Because there's a lot of myths about slavery that still exist.
They were well fed, Johnny.
They were happy.
They were well fed and they were well housed.
Right, and they're all going to get into Georgetown.
That's what I hear.
That's one of the myths they're going to dispel every day in the classroom. You're not all getting in. But, you know, a lot of schools haven't done this. And I think also credit to the activists on campus who protested over and over, brought this to the attention of the president of the university, Jack DeGioia, something like John DeGioia. And I think that's pretty incredible. And a lot of these old schools, you hear something, oh, this is a venerated institution, been around for 250, 300 years. Well, you know what that means? That means it was around during slavery. You know, I went to the University of Virginia, I love the University of Virginia. There are lawn rooms along the architectural, victory that is the University of Virginia, Jefferson's academic village. Behind the lawn rooms, there are range rooms, and the range rooms are where the students who lived in the lawn rooms, that's where their slaves that they brought to school with them would live. So there's all, now it's honors, honors graduate students live there. I mean, that's, obviously where we've come, but you think of the history of these old institutions, not every, and UVA did it to a degree, but not every institution honors that. And to change the name of a hall that was named after a slave owner, I think Georgetown should be commended, and maybe it'll be a contagious thing.
Yeah. Think about that. You go to college, you bring your slaves with you. You know what I mean? And then like
I didn't. I'm not that old.
Yeah.
But like it's like
this is a while ago.
Yeah.
And it's like they probably asked the college kid, "Hey, how are you? Is everything okay? Everything okay?" Meanwhile, they got two people who have no choice in where they go, what they do with their life. They don't even get to go to college. They just have to go there and wait on this college kid.
Exactly.
And they don't. And by the way, they didn't have Prozac or Zoloft back then. So I wonder how slaves. I don't understand how they did it. Honest to God, I don't know how they did it. I couldn't be.
Well, they had no choice.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know how they weren't committing suicide all the time. I'm sure there were high suicide rates of slaves, but I can't believe it. Just seems like such a horrific thing. Like what the f? Slavery?
I mean, my immediate reaction would be, knowing the cruelty of slave masters, there was probably some sort of policy that if you commit suicide, there would be harm done to your family members. They're clever. But as Jimmy
John,
said...
How do you know that?
I'm just speculating. I watched 12 Years a Slave. Speculating. So as Jimmy said, the plan does not offer any form of compensation for unpaid labor in historical or current dollars or any kind of in-kind payment. The Georgetown Commission, which was the working group on slavery, memory, and reconciliation that Georgetown set up several years ago, did recommend tuition support, but there are no plans to do that at this time. Although if there's enough media coverage of this, perhaps that will be changed in the future. And so look, I've read some interesting editorials about this, and I expect that You'll be seeing a lot of this, probably less on things like CNN and MSNBC, and probably more on The Blaze and Fox News, because they're going to try to pitch this as, look at these libs in academia doing reparations when, as editorials have made clear, this is not the equivalent of reparations. This is a particularly good form of affirmative action. How could you, they will say, how could you try to manipulate the system to push these people forward, not caring that, of course, the system has been set up in a way that holds these people back? But one of the important reasons that this doesn't rise to the level of qualifying as reparations is this helps people who are able to prove that they were related to those slaves and make it to the point where they're applying for college to be given this preferential admissions treatment. But there are so many things that hold back kids who are poor, who are minorities, from getting to that point, from getting through school with the grades, from going to a school that's good enough that you are prepared for college, from getting the right information about how to apply for colleges. That information is passed down easily through wealthy families to their kids, where in many cases their applications aren't even handled by themselves. But in lower class or in minority communities, it's a lot harder to get that accurate information. So this is going to help some people, and this is, as Michael said, better than, as far as I know, any other school has done. But this is still just a tiny little thing that they're doing, and there's much more that could be done.
I don't think it's a tiny little thing. I think it's a big thing.
I mean, in comparison to the severity of the historic problem.
Oh, well, nothing will equal that. I mean, you know, nothing will ever be proportional to what was done to generations of black, at that time, Africans and then Americans. Nothing will ever do
Well,
that.
I mean, unless we give them all a flat screen or something. You got to give them a flat screen?
Yeah, but you get a flat screen. Where are you going to put it? You're going to put it up on the wall? How are you going to get? You got to install it. Yeah. You got to get a slave to put it.
A lot of places won't let you put it on the wall. You can't make those sorts of alterations.
You can't do that. No,
Exactly.
but honestly, I think this should not be sort of swept under the rug as, oh,
I'm not trying to sweep under the rug.
No,
I
I
put it
know
on the
you're not.
rundown.
You're not at all. I know. You're right. I mean, and Jimmy even said this is the story we should do. So to your credit, but I do think that this is, you know, I think that this has to be looked at as a major accomplishment from a modern institution to acknowledge their history and do that, and more should do it. I mean, you know, they get credit for doing it. It's the obvious thing that they should have done, and more should do it.
Yeah.
So
well, perhaps more will now.
Yes, perhaps more will.
Yeah, sometimes it simply takes one university, in this case prompted by an investigative committee made up of both students, alumni, and teachers, by the way, were part of the commission that put this together. But now that they've done it, and they're going to experience both praise and criticism, maybe some other schools will do it as well.